What's going on, guys? Josh from JB Woodworking. Got something a little different today. I have been looking to make a burl or something with a burl for a while, and I went ahead and found something on eBay, and the wood species was unknown at purchase, so I'm not really sure what kind of wood this is, but after I did an initial turning on the lathe just to get it down to size, there's some really neat purple marking in this. It doesn't smell like cedar or anything like that. So I don't know what this is exactly. That purple is kind of throwing me off. Otherwise, I would say it looks like maple, but I don't really know. So now I did go ahead and turn this down a little bit just to round it out. My plan is to make it fit inside this bucket. So I got that turned down to the correct size, and I'm going to cast this whole thing in resin. That's at least that's my plan. So now I've got some liquid glass, deep pour epoxy. It says it can go up to 4 inches thick, and I'm hoping that's going to be okay. I don't know that it's going to be more than 4 inches in a specific section of this, and I'm hopefully going to get it right up to the top edge of the piece here. So that's my next step. I'm going to go ahead and get some resin made up, and we will start pouring. I'm still trying to figure out what color, so I'm going to go through my colors real quick and see what I think is going to look nice. I'm probably going to go with a blue coloring. I think that would look pretty nice, but I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. All right, guys, so I went through my colors, and I've got these two different blues. I've got a turquoise blue and a Pacific blue. I think they both look really nice, and they make a nice looking well, whatever I'm going to make out of this ultimately. So I think I do like this turquoise blue a little bit better for this project. So that's what I'm going to go with. And hopefully I've got enough epoxy left. I did just get another shipment in, so if I run out of this, I do have some more inside. I'll have to go get some more real quick, but let's see. Now this is probably the biggest resin mold that I've done, so I'm not sure how much powder I should really put in this. I'm probably going to go on the heavier side, I think, just to give it some really deep color. Let's see what that does. Careful. All right, here's the cool part. Hopefully, we'll see how much this made. I don't think it's going to be enough to fill up, obviously, what I want, so I'm going to have to get my other new kit from inside, but I'm just going to start pouring this on top. I want it to really fill up every single possible void that I can find. And then when I'm done with this part, I am going to put this in my pressure pot to make sure it gets completely filled up and all the bubbles coming out. Now, supposedly with the deep pour epoxy, the bubbles aren't as big of an issue to worry about, but I want to make sure this is done perfectly. And I don't know how worried I am about this thing floating in the resin. It's a pretty heavy block of wood, so I think it's probably going to be okay, but I do have some weights close by that I can put on top and to hold it down just in case. So we'll see. We will see what happens. All right, yeah, definitely gonna need more. I'm gonna go inside and get my new kit real quick. The nice thing though with this being the deep pour epoxy, it stays liquid for quite some time, and a lot of the bubbles, or almost all the bubbles, completely come out. Now I am going to put it in my pressure pot, so that'll take care of the rest. But let's get some color in here. And I noticed in that first pour, not seeing a lot of the color necessarily on the wood, so I'm going to put a little more in, make this section a little bit darker. Put the lid back on that so I don't accidentally dump it all over the floor. Yeah, let's mix this up. That looks pretty cool. It's a nice color. I'm gonna pour this down from the top, just so it, try to minimize how much it pours into the first color. Oh yeah, I definitely got to put some type of weight on this because that actually floated quite a bit. Okay, and let me find something to use. All right, so hopefully this will work out as I'm planning it will. Using some zip ties, using the handle as an anchor point. I thought about taping this down, but I had a feeling that it would start to tear the tape out over the next few days as this dries. Now this will take 72 hours according to the directions here. for it to completely dry. All right, that's doing pretty good. It's not quite to the top of the blank though, of the burl. So I am going to make up just a little bit more and pour that in. So I'm hoping the different colors won't mix together completely and just make one color. I'm hoping it will have a little bit of separation at least. And it is pretty neat. You can actually see all the little bubbles coming to the surface here. So hopefully that will continue to come to the surface and work its way out of this blank. And I don't have too many bubbles in this. Okay. It does feel very secure to me. I think it's going to be okay. I'm not going to use the handle. Do I need to use the handle? I think I can get away without using the handle. I just want to make sure that it's securely holding it down. I can barely budge it at all as it is, so I think it's okay. I'm going to get my torch and pop some of the bubbles on top just for fun more than anything. Be right back. Okay, so time for the pressure pot. I'm going to pause the video here for a second. I'll bring it back. All right, here we go. I got my pressure pot. It's from California Air Tools. And I've used it once before for something else for the resin pumpkin that I made. It turned out pretty nice. Seemed to do a good job. So I've already got this opened up. And hopefully I don't drop this. That would be horrible. See, that fits just about perfect, even with the board on there. So I'm going to do this, check it out, put it back on. Now I'm going to leave this in here in the pressure pot for most of the day today. So the resin does take 72 hours to cure, but being a deep pour, a lot of the bubbles are going to pop on by themselves, and I also don't want to leave my garage heated up to this point for the next 3 days as well. So I'm going to let it cure for a day in here, keep the garage warm, and then I'm going to bring it inside and let it finish. All right, guys, it's about 3 or 4 days later after pouring this initial resin and burl mix. I was going to make 2 separate videos, but I'm just going to make one longer video, and hopefully you guys will stick around and watch it. So now I did try using a few different tools for this project. I started out with my 5/8 bowl gouge, and that seemed to just be dulling so quickly. I did switch over to my carbide tools to really make a dent. Also, this video was recording for about 4.5 hours. So I'm going to try to edit this down into something manageable and to put on YouTube that you guys can watch. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down to the 30-minute mark. It might be closer to 45, but we'll see how it goes. So to finish this bowl, I went ahead and used some sanding sealer on the wood part, and then I used some wax to polish the wood and the resin. I'm really happy with the way this turned out, but my original plan was to have the walls of the bowl maybe somewhere between a quarter to a half-inch thick, all the way down to the bottom. But I realized if I did that, I would lose a ton of the wood grain, which in my opinion really makes this bowl what it is, and I wouldn't want to lose that. Now I have considered putting this back on the lathe at some point and turning down the outside of the bowl a little bit more to change the shape, but I'm not sure I want to risk damaging it. On the very bottom of the bowl, there is some spots where there were some bubbles that didn't get cleared out. Not really that noticeable. You're not really looking at the bottom of the bowl, but I did see them, and I may go back and refinish that, but I may just leave it as it is too. Anyway, though, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can see my future projects. I'm also not an expert on turning with wood and resin, or wood in general, but I'm still learning. If you guys have any ideas that could help me out, please let me know in the comments section. I'm always looking for ways to do things better, and I've already learned a ton from watching other woodworking channels here on YouTube, and I'm thankful that this community exists, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Now, if you know what kind of wood this is, let me know in the comments section below, and thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.